Oh, there you are. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm looking a bit of a tramp today. You know, old T-shirt on, unwashed hair. Now, the reason is I did look completely different just an hour ago while I was recording the show. Now, the show has already been recorded, okay? I went downstairs, I had a cup of tea, I came back upstairs to put it together, and I realised for some strange, can you do that word? Inexplicable reason, okay? For some strange reason, there is no video. I don't know why. The sound is there, but the video is not. So I'm afraid to disappoint you today. Today's show is in sound only. There'll be a little picture of the Union Jack coming up in a moment, and that will remain there for the next hour while I'm chatting away about everything. All right, so sorry about that. No video for today's show, but here comes the sound to today's United Kingdom Talk.
Chris Reardon. From the Mirrorball Studio in Royal Berkshire, this is Chris Reardon.
Hello there, it's Chris Reardon with you, or as Mum used to call me, Christopher. Oh yes, there was only a couple of people in this world have called me Christopher. One was my mum, and I think her mum, my nan as well, called me Christopher. Maybe we should use that in future. Hello, it's Christopher Reardon. Christopher, does that sound better? Christopher, it doesn't quite have the same ring to it, do you think? Anyway, welcome along to United Kingdom Talk. We're not going to muck about to start with today. We must wish someone's happy birthday. Now, this is not a regular viewer to the programme. I'm sorry to say he is not a regular viewer. But I was going through my little birthday book. Well, I say birthday book. My mum had a birthday book. Did yours? Do you have a birthday book? I've got this thing online. I can't remember, birthdays.com, probably called birthdays.com, I think. And you put people's birthdays in it. And when it comes to their birthday, you get an email to say their birthday's coming up in a few days' time. And one of my friends from a long time ago, and I haven't spoken to him for a few years now, is Stirland, who is in... Oh, hang on a minute. Where is he? I thought he was in the States. Anyway, he's in Edinburgh, actually, at the moment. And I emailed him to wish him a happy birthday. And he wrote back, OMG, which means, oh my God. How the something hell are you? I mean, we don't like to use that language on the programme, if you don't mind, Stirland. Or Stirland? Stirland. It's here. Stirland. We don't like to use those sort of languages, dear. So I'll delete the unbroadcastable words from your email, but I do get your idea. Okay. Oh my God, he says, I miss you and I was just going to give you a ring to call in on you at one of the places you work at in a couple of weeks. And you remembered my birthday. Good man. Of course, dear. Let me tell you, Stirland, I met him years and years ago on a little job I was doing in France. And it was also in Italy over the years. Sometimes it was in France, sometimes it was in Italy at a skiing resort. And I shared many meals with him, and we kind of put the world to rights, sitting down on a settee. Do you remember sitting down on a settee with me, Stirland? Sitting on the settee where the main door was of the hotel, and you would come in, and on the left hand side you would sit with me on this, I think it was a leather settee, and we'd chat. And it was right. Why did we sit there? I know why we sat there, because there was an internet unit right next to the chairs, and people would sit on there waiting for their turn, wouldn't they? Do you remember that? I bet you do, don't you? Anyway, that's how I know Stirland, from doing these little DJing and hosting jobs for a holiday company. I actually gave that up a couple of years ago. But very nice chap to talk to. Many meals shared, weren't there? Yep, sometimes the food was good, sometimes not so good. It's funny, actually, talking about that food in the last show. If you were listening or watching the last show, boys and girls, you would have noticed me talking about cheese in France. And some of it really stinks. I don't know how they can eat it. I really don't know. There's nothing wrong with a bit of English cheddar, is there? Remember I told you, that little hint I gave you last week, Sainsbury's are doing a very special offer at the moment. And you can buy 2 blocks of Mull of Kintyre cheese, which is quite strong. Number 5 on the taste chart. It's really nice. 2 of those, £4. Okay, do try that Mull of Kintyre cheese. It's really nice. Anyway, I always remember Stirland and myself, and we'd be in the queue waiting to get our food. And they used to have this great... I've mentioned this before in one of the old shows, I know. They used to have this great big bit of cheese that was kind of heated. And they would cut bits off and put it on the... But it stank. It stank vile. I don't know how they could eat it. English people were eating it as well. Oh, there's some very strange people on these trips that we used to go to, dear. You want to see some of the clothes they wear? Very odd indeed. Anyway, Stirland writes, I actually see Pam Ann, she's a cabaret act, and she is... what does she do? If you type in Pam Ann, okay, Pam space ANN in the YouTube, if you type in Pam Ann British Airways adverts, have a look at that. It is the funniest thing ever. Now, Pam Ann is a cabaret artist who I've worked with many, many times. She's a lovely person, and her act is hilarious. She basically does a takeoff of the girls that work on board, girls and boys, of course, that work on board airlines. And it's hilarious. If you ever get a chance to see her, please do, okay? Pam Ann, it is Pam space ANN. And as I say, if you type in Pam space ANN, British Airways advert, stick that into YouTube, and you will see some of the funniest videos you've ever seen. You'll love those, okay? So have a look at that. Stirland writes to say, I see Pam Ann, however, quite a bit. However, things have changed, meaning we've all gotten older. Well, we have, yeah. I don't feel any older. Okay, now and again I get a bit of a dodgy knee, but since I stopped the jogging, that's no longer a problem. But yes, I know what you mean, the odd grey hair here and there. He gives me a new email address and tells me that he's actually in Edinburgh. And I don't know what you're doing up there. Now, he's changed his email address because he keeps getting those emails from companies offering little diamond-shaped blue pills and offers to make things bigger. I think you know what I mean. I keep getting these emails. What are they trying to say, for God's sake? I haven't got a problem. I wish they'd stop sending me these emails. He said, be good to catch up with you because next year he is going to be 40. Yep, Stirland's a little bit younger than me. And he wants me to come and DJ at his birthday next August in Orlando. And he gives me a website. I'll give you a call to have a proper chat about it, but equally it would be good to see you soon. And that's from Stirland. And it was his birthday very, very recently, so I do feel the need to sing happy birthday to you, sir. Are you ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Stirland. Happy birthday to you. All right, come on, it's better than a birthday card, isn't it? Are you sure it's better than a birthday card? Happy birthday to Stirland. 40 now. You'll be fine, Stirland. Once you've gone over that 40, everything's fine again. It's getting to, oh my God, you're going to be 40. Well, I'm 45 now and I'm not bothered. Well, I am bothered. I want to be that cute little 21-year-old again, and I'm not. It will never come back again. I suppose I'm going to have cosmetic surgery. We've talked about that loads of times on the show. As in the answer to your question, would you like me to come and DJ at your thing in Orlando? Yes, I would love to. And I feel very honoured that you've asked me to do that. I've not played in America. I've done some European places, as you know, but I've never played in America, and I would love to. So thank you for the offer. Where would that be? Not that dreadful place on Orange. Do you hire out venues or what? Will it be in that place in Orange Blossom Trail? You know the one I mean. Oh, dear me. It all goes on there in Florida, doesn't it? Thank you very much for that, Stirland. Okay. Oh, my little, my mini mirror ball's just dropped off the microphone. Hang on a minute. Where's that gone? There. Oh, hang on. I don't want to tread on that. I've got to... Let me pick that up. I've got a little, you can't actually see it, but I've got a little mini mirror ball that sits on the bottom of the microphone. Why? I don't know, it just does. Oh, also, those of you eagle-eyed who are watching the show will notice behind me a new item has appeared. Okay, that is one of the wigs that the dear Suko sent me to cover up my bald patch. So thank you for that one, Suko. Right, we'll go straight into Susan's email. Remember, we got halfway through the email at the end of the last show, and then we ran out of time. First of all, she was giving advice to Catherine about her computer problems, because Catherine, when she's watching us on YouTube, she finds that the programme keeps stopping. Okay, so I'll say something and then it will stop. And what's happening is that the computer is trying to download the program and you're watching it at the same time. But you're watching it at a quicker rate than the computer can download it. So we said, hit the play button, let it start, and then hit pause. Okay, and that grey bar underneath, just wait till it goes, I don't know, nearly all the way across, and then hit the play button again. That way you will have downloaded the program first. Also, if you ever use, I don't know if you use Real Player, but I think that now has the option to download programs from YouTube as well. So you might want to look into that. Sorry, I can't help you further, but do let us know if that helps you at all, Catherine, all right? Now, Susan continues to write. Also, you mentioned on your last show that Tiny sometimes has trouble walking. Do you think she might be getting a touch of arthritis? Yeah, possibly. But I said on the last show, I've noticed a couple of her claws seem to be nearly, not fully, but kind of looking as if they're about to cross over at the front. So I think she's got a little bit of a problem with her foot, and booked into the vet. So I'll let you know how that happens. Well, I've been busy doing bookings today. I've also booked my car in for a service, my little Toyota Aygo. How many miles do you think I've done on that, eh? Any ideas? 69, nearly 69,500, and I've had it 2 years, which is an awful lot of miles for a car here in the UK. But I do a lot of driving, so what can you do? Booked in for a 70,000 mile service, so that's happening on Monday. Susan writes, at Tiny's age anyway, it would be a good idea to give her some glucosamine. Is it glucosamine? Glucosamine, is that how you say it? She says, there is also a good vitamin for older animals called pet tinic. Both of these can be purchased through pet catalogues or from your local vets. They really do help our ageing babies. Well, they are, aren't they? Susan, our cats are our babies. They are our babies, our ageing babies. They really are. She goes on to say, Uri Geller is the name. Do you remember I was saying? I couldn't remember the name of the bloke who he rubs spoons and knives and forks and makes them bend. I couldn't remember the name of the guy. Uri Geller, of course, Susan tells me. Uri Geller is the name of the man who bends spoons and other objects. I hope not me. He's not going to bend me, is he? Hang on. I wonder if... Could you do it? Look. I'm rubbing the back of my neck and my head is bending. Look at that. Look at that. Anyway, it was Uri Geller. One of my best friends, Barbara, used to be part of the pair group at Princetown University. She got to meet Uri and he showed the group how to concentrate so that they could bend things. Barbara still has the spoon she bent just by holding it. Can she still do that? Can she still actually do that? You could use that for naughty things, couldn't you, really? When you think about it, Susan, you could be thinking, someone perhaps that you dislike a little bit, and you could wheel them to bend in front of you. I'm trying to do it now to someone. Hang on a minute. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll see him again probably during the week at some point, and I'll let you know if he's got bent or not. So to speak, of course. She says, well, I'm at work now, so I better get back to it. Have a nice day and give my love to Sharon. That's my sister. I feel really so sad for her right now after losing her dog. So thank you for that one, Susan. See, we get through the emails in the end, dear. It takes a little while sometimes. Incidentally, I've been mucking around with the little video camera again. Now, I did notice that on the last show I looked rather pink. Did anyone notice that? I was looking rather pink. So I just don't seem to be able to get this lighting business right, but we're having another go. And today, because I can actually see myself on a little screen next to me on the left. I don't know. Today I don't look pink. I almost look a little bit greeny blue today, don't I? You can't win. And on the show before that, I was looking green because it was outside and we had the green. Oh, you can't win. I give up. I think maybe we'll just have to cancel the whole video thing and just go back to sound only. What do you reckon, eh? Oh, I don't know. There's an email address to the show. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, as I mentioned, I've put the little wig up behind me that Suko sent me a little while ago, didn't you, Suko? Thank you for that. And Suko sent me in this. Is this one of Sharon's neighbours? And she sends me in a news story that she picked up on money.co.uk. And it says, a couple from Lincolnshire have been left baffled this week after being threatened with legal action over a bill. Now, how much do you think that bill was, boys and girls? You know it's not going to be a lot. 1 penny. 2 cents. 1 penny bill. Now, this couple received the stark warning from British Telecom after trying numerous times to settle the debt without success. They rung the organisation and they were told that they didn't owe anything. Then we got another bill telling us that they will disconnect all our services within 10 days and put us in touch with a debt collection agency. And this is just typical of large companies, isn't it? How many times have we seen stuff like this in the papers? Maybe you've had experiences of it yourself, have you? Ever been in trouble after actually paying a bill or thinking that you don't know anything, and then all of a sudden you get a letter out of the blue, and yet when you try and talk to the company concerned, it's like banging your head against a brick wall. I had the same with one of the mobile phone companies here. It must be about 3 or 4 years ago. I did a whole show on it years and years ago. And it's a nightmare. Because you ring them up and they just don't seem to talk to each other. It is a nightmare when you start getting into these conversations with large companies. In the end, you have to just come away from it and you never, ever go back and have anything to do with that company again. Oh, I still get the letters. I still get the letters asking me to come back to them. You are having a laugh. I don't care how much you've changed your staff. You don't get a chance with me. Once you've mucked up, that's it, mate. That's it. I'm sick to death of large companies taking the small man to court even when it's not his fault. Does annoy me. Does annoy me big time. He said they'd been receiving the seemingly pointless bills ever since they took part in a trial with the company earlier in the year. However, despite cancelling the service due to poor reception, the bills kept on coming. The final demand notice, which informed them that the company would be passing on their details with a debt collection agency, arrived on Monday. This was the final straw for the Lincolnshire couple, who saw no other option than to take their story to the local paper and get it resolved. And it was then that the company took notice, withdrew their earlier bill and apologised to the bewildered couple for the inconvenience caused. And Suko is saying, could this be your sister? Well, I mean, in the story's case, of course, the couple didn't owe anything at all, did they? If it had been my sister, my guess is she would have owed the money. Oh, it's dreadful, dear. Oh, she doesn't like to pay bills. No, miss something for nothing. She sits there on a Sunday afternoon, cutting the coupons out of magazines to save that 3p on a tub of margarine. I mean, she does, dear. Not that I don't think there's anything wrong with her. My mum used to do that. Oh, yes, dear. She wouldn't make a point of sitting down. I don't think she did anyway. She wouldn't make a point of sitting down and cutting these money off coupons out of papers and things. But if she was reading a magazine or something like that and she came across something that was useful to her, yes, she'd cut the coupon out. 10p off a bag of potatoes. Anything like that. So, no, it wasn't my sister, but Suko, it could well have been, Always. Oh, she owes money all over the place, dear. It's not like she can't pay it. She just doesn't like to. Dreadful. Thank you very much, Suko. I was just going to say something else to you then. What was it? Oh, have you noticed I haven't sneezed? Look, haven't sneezed today. Why is that? Last 3 shows, kept sneezing at the beginning of the show. Today, not sneezing, not too bad on the mucus coming up the back of the throat or anything. Isn't it funny how from one day to the other, you can feel completely different? Don't know why. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk is the email address. Now, Matthew in Australia continues to write marvellous emails. He says, first of all, to my sister, dear Chris and Sharon, I'm sorry to hear that your dog had to be put down by the vet. That is sad. We used to have a cat too that was a member of our family, and we were all very upset when our ginger cat named Charlie was put down. Take care, love, Matty. They're actually quite rare, aren't they? I didn't realise that ginger cats are actually quite rare. And I didn't know that. That's a nice name for a cat, isn't it? Charlie. Charlie the cat. I like that one. And Matt also writes, it was his brother Stephen's birthday on the 22nd of August. He gave him a movie voucher for the cinema. He got money for his birthday. And before that, on last Friday, it was his brother Simon's birthday. He got an electric shaver. Bzz, I've got one of those. Bzz. But I do find it's much quicker to shave with a normal... two-bladed thing. Why are razor blades? The razor blades are really dear, aren't they? I remember Anonymous sending me a little link a while ago to I think you can buy a razor blade sharpening gadget, can't you? Do you remember I mentioned that? It was a few months ago now. Anyway, he got his electric shaver, and we had lasagna for dinner. Oh, I like lasagna. Do you like? I like both beef lasagna, and I've also had vegetable lasagna, which is very nice. I did try and make it once, but I got it wrong. What did I do? Oh, yes. I put the layers of pasta on, and a layer of pasta at the top, and then sprinkled cheese on, okay? And, of course, I put it in the oven. Now, cooks all over the world will know exactly what I'm doing wrong here, but maybe, Matty, you're not a cook, I don't know. Are you a cook? Are you? Tell me. Tell me. So I put it in the oven with the cheese on top, brought it out, and it looked nice, but the top had all gone hard. And of course, what I hadn't done was put the white, is it bitumen sauce on the top, which keeps it nice and supple. That's one of my favourite meals, that, Matty. Lasagna. Oh, we like a lasagna, dear. They also had cake, and before that, on the 9th of August, it was my dad's birthday. I mentioned this. He got a graphics card for us. Why do you keep sending me the same emails here? I'm sure you're sending me the same emails here, Matty. He says he's been watching the Beijing Olympics on the telly with the cycle racing the favourite. Yes, yeah, I saw that as well. His big brother Simon wrote something cheeky on his brother Stephen's card and says, "Hello, ratbag. I smell someone getting old." Now, how funny is that? It made me go all bonkers. You've got a problem with age, haven't you, Matty? You absolutely have a problem with age, and I'm a little bit concerned that when you get older, you're not going to get on all right, dear. You have to be all right with age. Don't worry too much about it, love. There are plenty of people older than me. And you, possibly. And you see, here he goes again. "Hi, Chris, enjoyed your show. How is your age?" Every single time. What's your problem? What is your problem with people older? Eh? He says, "I will try it in future and say the same things of one show in one letter. Yes, because we don't want to waste paper and cut down trees." Exactly. Look, 4 emails, but hopefully we'll have 1 email per show from you, please, Matty. He said, "So we need to save the earth now on trees and paper." He says, "I think the Disney movie you were talking about a couple of shows ago with the dogs and the cats was called Homeward Bound." That is the show. Well done, Matt. I couldn't remember it myself. Homeward Bound, that's the one. He said, "I think it's one of them, and there's cats and dogs." No, it was definitely called Homeward Bound. "And there's another cat and dog movie that is not Disney called The Truth About Cats and Dogs." Now, I don't know that one. What's that one about? And how old? I don't know that film at all. How old is that film? He says, the Cats and Dogs movie is so funny. Cats are daft, aren't they? Yes, they are. Cats are a little bit daft, especially when you're coming round the corner in your car and your cat stops in front of the car and just stares at you. Why do they do that? And what other stupid things do cats do, Matty? You remember your Charlie? What stupid things did Charlie do? Another thing these cats do, they sit there waiting for their dinner. Okay? They come round your legs, they wait, meow, meow, round your legs. You put it down, they sniff it, and they walk off. What's all that about? Then you call them back and put something out down, like a saucer of milk or something. They take one lick of that, and they go off. One of my cats, Katie, the younger one, she likes to drink moving water. But it's got to be moving. Honestly, she'd come around my legs in the morning, right? There will be a bowl of water on the floor already. That's been there a while. If I pick that bowl up and chuck it outside, she will run over to it and try and drink the water that's fallen on the floor. But she wouldn't have drunk it out of the bowl. But I've learnt from this. And what I do now is when she comes around my legs in the morning, I pick up the bowl, because I don't like her to be drinking it off the ground. It's horrible, isn't it? So I chuck the water into the sink, I fill up the bowl, and then I put the bowl down on the floor, and I kind of shake it so there's ripples in the water, and I put her down in front of it, and then she drinks it. It's just daft. Cats are daft. It's true. It is true. Matty goes on to say, I like it when you do strange noises. It's very funny. It makes me go bonkers. It sounds like something like that. See you on the next show, your friend Matty. And he also sends me a link to different, if you want to find out all about various different movies, www.imdb.com. That's Internet Movie Database, all right, imdb.com. And he also says there's Beethoven. That is just a dog movie from Disney. And I haven't seen that one either, actually, Matty. So thank you very much. I did actually have a look on the Internet Movie based data site about Dallas, because they're making a Dallas film. And I printed off this little bit for you because I will probably go and see the Dallas film, even though I'm pretty sure I'm going to be disappointed because they are different people playing the characters. And I don't believe that with a film like with a film like Dallas, you can do that. I don't see how that can work. It's a bit like there's a new Star Trek film coming out I think they've put it back now to spring 2009. Okay? All the people in this film, as far as I can tell, have not been in any of the Star Treks. They are different people playing the same characters. How can you have a Star Trek without William Shatner or Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart? Or indeed, what's the lady's name? Catherine Janeway. I can't remember the actress's name. Okay, it's got to be one of those three, isn't it? You can't just have a Star Trek. It's a bit like that Doctor. Do you remember the Doctor Who? The film of Doctor Who that was made in America? It was a completely different bloke playing it. It was just awful. Awful. You've got to have the original characters from the TV series. And especially with Dallas. I mean, it didn't work. Do you remember when Barbara Bel Geddes was ill and they got someone else to take her place? Who has died since. I'm not speaking bad of the person, but they got someone else to take her place while she wasn't well, and it just didn't work. I can't remember who it was. It was a thin lady. Just didn't work. And I don't see how you can have a new Dallas movie without the old characters. Yes, okay, so what? They're 25 years older. Yes, some of them, certainly Barbara Bel Geddes has passed on now. but you should have the original characters in that film, Dallas 25 years on, something like that. I don't see how you can do this. Anyway, I looked at that database movie site, and it says, after reiterating, here we go. Well, last week we jumped into the Dallas movie with a report from a scooper. Now, a scooper is someone that finds out about things in America. And it claimed James Brolin and Friday Night Light star Minka Kelly were set to join the cast of the newly revitalised Betty Thomas-directed Project Dallas. I mean, I don't know if these people are famous in the States, but I've never heard of them. Also, it says, after first reiterating that James Brolin as Jock Ewing, Diane Ladd as Ellie Southfork, as Miss Ellie, Minka Kelly as Pamela Barnes Ewing, I don't know who she is, Julie Benz as Sue Ellen Ewing, are now either signed to deals or close to finalising them. As Scooper starts busting new casting revelations. He says Kevin Conway, don't know who he is, will be signing to play Digger Barnes, and Katie Cassidy will be playing Lucy Ewing. Paul Logan has been offered the role of Ray Krebs. Meanwhile, he thinks the film could end up having a lost connection, and adds Matthew Fox is being considered as Bobby Ewing and Rob Lowe is being considered as Cliff Barnes, and I just don't see this is going to work. I don't see how this can work. The little article goes on to say, for me, the big question, this is the guy who's writing the thing, the big question mark is figuring out how to turn a rather cheesy primetime soap opera into a legitimate blockbuster event film. I mean, I just don't see it happening. I will go and see the film. I will absolutely go and see a film, but unfortunately, I'm already of the opinion that that it's not going to be particularly good, and therefore, you know, I've kind of almost made up my decision before the film's even been made or seen, which is a bit mad, really. But we'll see how that progresses. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that. I personally think they should bring back all the members of the cast that can still do it. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know who's dead and who isn't dead. I don't think many of them have. As far as I know, it's only Barbara Bel Geddes that's gone, isn't it? From what I remember. But I just think they should bring them all back together and do a one-off film like that. Dallas 25 years on. What you could do, I mean, it kind of this makes common sense. What you could do, you could make a new series out of it. Because you could have the old JR, the original people in a big film, okay, but then you could have Christopher, who was JR's. Was it? No, sorry, John Ross, who was JR's son, okay. You could have Christopher, who was Bobby Ewing's son. They could come up and they could now be kind of running the main part of Ewing Oil, yeah, and the film could kind of hand it over to them. So the story would continue. Much better than having, in my opinion, much better than having all these new different characters. I really do believe that. And it's going back to the Star Trek thing as well. With Star Trek, you've already had Captain Kirk kind of handing over to Jean-Luc Picard in other films. So that worked. It all worked. Now, Jean Picard maybe could have handed over to Catherine Janeway, somehow like that. And it kind of moves on. Rather than them trying to do the same thing, but with different actors and actresses. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. Your thoughts on that? Let me know. Chris at UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Chris at UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. More Dallas news, and this one I'm interested in. Cast members of TV show Dallas are to return to the Southfork Ranch to celebrate its 30th anniversary. 30 years ago! 30 years ago. Can you believe it? Stars including Larry Hagman. Here we go. Now, this is more like it. This is more like it. Larry Hagman, Linda Gray and Patrick Duffy Duffy have confirmed they will attend the reunion, which will be held in November. Now, Susan, you've got to go to this, my darling. You've got to go to this. The event will be open to the public with a cast question and answer session and tours of the mansion. Of course, Susan's already been there, and that's where this hat. I don't know if you've not seen the show before, but there is a hat behind me on the wall. There we are, which Susan got me from when she visited Southfork Ranch. And she took photos of the hat in all the varying different places, didn't you, Susan? And just one of my most treasured gifts. That so it's got a little Southfork badge, which is on the side there as well. You can't quite see that because the lights are a little bit too bright for that. 1 minute, put that down there. Yes, we love that. Anyway, the event will be open to the public, as we say. Larry Hagman, who's now 76. See, that doesn't bother me, their age. Doesn't bother me their age at all. Some people would say, television people would say, well, people don't want to see old people on the telly. And it's a dreadful thing to say. We had a very good newsreader here in the UK, Moira Stewart, who was moved on because certainly the papers said that she was moved on because she was too old. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. I have what's all that about? Not having older people on the telly. Larry Hagman, 76, who played central character J.R. Ewing, said he was looking forward to the event. I may not be able to do the 40th, said Hagman in an interview with the Dallas Morning News. 30 years is pretty good, and the show is still very popular. It certainly is. I've actually got 5 series of them downstairs on DVD. Tickets are going to go on sale on the 22nd of August. Will cost between $100 and $1,000. Blimey. That's a lot of money. There's a lot of money making going on there. The reunion promises to be a tamer. Larry and I will have a bowl of muesli and a small shot of prune juice and be in bed by 9 o'clock, Patrick Duffy said, who told the newspaper. Series ran from 1978 to 1991. So that's a great thing. I should look forward to news articles about that. When is it in November? So that's only a couple of months away. Fantastic. One of my friends has actually worked with Patrick Duffy in pantomime in Brighton. Dave Lynn, who is a cabaret artist here in the UK that I've worked with many times. If you're a new listener or viewer to the show, you won't know my main job. I'm a club DJ, and I also put shows on the stage in small venues, relatively small venues in London. One of the artists I work with is Dave Lynn, and he's worked with Patrick Duffy in cabaret in Brighton. That was last Christmas 2000 and 2007. As it was an absolute pleasure to work with. So that's nice, that is. All right, there's your Dallas news. Back to the emails then. And let's say hi again to Robert, who is a Bingay customer and now viewer to the show, aren't you, Robert? Welcome along. Again, here's your other email that you sent in last week. He said, I just finished watching the last show and thought of a few things that might make you laugh. The film name you wanted was Homeward Bound. I think there were 2 dogs and 1 cat, as Matthew was saying. So thanks for that, Robert. He says, as for customer service help desks, I used to be a supervisor on one a few years ago before I got into teaching. And we used to have great fun and what some people would phone in and say. Example. Engineer. Hello, can I help you today? Customer. Hello. I sat down at my computer and there is nothing on the screen. It was all working fine when I left it, and now there's nothing, and it's not doing anything, even when I press the keyboard. Engineer. OK, sir, can I just ask you to try something for me? Reach down to the front of the main unit where all the cables are connected and press the large button. Customer. Ah, yes. Some writing has appeared on the screen and I can hear it making some noises. Engineer. Oh, good. Let's give it a minute and see what it does. Customer. It's now asking me to log in. Engineer. Log in for me, please. Customer. Yes, I have my normal screen. Engineer. OK, good. Could you take note of the time, and if the screen goes blank again, write down the time it does and call me back. Customer, thank you. You've been very helpful. Why couldn't I do anything? Engineer, you hadn't turned it on, sir. Line went dead. Robert says, in defence of the customer, he normally left his computer to go into standby mode as directed by his manager. However, the cleaner had turned the computer off to plug in the Hoover in the morning. Oh, I think we've all heard that story at one point or another, Robert, I think. He says, this is one of the many funny conversations we had on the help desk. Like the Dell help desk you mentioned, we had a director to help customers get through to the right people, and it advised them that we recorded the conversation for training purposes. As a result of the large number of calls 1 week of the same nature as the one above, we altered our welcoming message to the following. Welcome to our customer service help desk. You'll be asked to select from one of the following options. Please note that the calls are recorded for training purposes, or for us to reply on those sad Mondays when we don't want to be starting the week and we are in need of a laugh. Press 1 for hardware support. Press 2 for application or software support. Press 3 for web support. Press 0 for general support, or randomly hit any key on the phone if, like your computer, you do not know how to use a phone. Come to think of it, we should have added a joke about any of the keys as well to top it off. We were lucky we had understanding customers, but we found that we never had a hang-up during the message, and every customer we spoke to always seemed to be in a great mood throughout the call, no matter what the problem was. Yeah, you've got to turn things into jokes, I think, Robert, a lot of the time. There's far too much seriousness in this world. I've just remembered that one of your listeners had commented on the fact that she was having problems watching, where it kept cutting her off after 40 minutes of watching. She would have to start again. Yeah, we brought this up already, I think. That was Catherine, wasn't it? This could be because the playtime, this is exactly what we said. This could, because, you see, the thing is, with Robert is a bit of a computer whiz kid. Okay, so he knows all about these things. This could be because the playtime was catching up and hitting the download time when watching on YouTube. The video is downloading, and after a certain amount has downloaded, it starts to play. It could be that for some reason the download is slowed down mid-play and the video has not completed downloading when it gets to that point. There are a few things she can try. Number 1. While she is watching, if she looks at the bottom of the video, she should notice that the bar at the bottom, it fills up with 2 colours. The first is a pinky colour, which is the download colour, and the second is a red colour, the playtime. Now, I thought it was grey. If the red gets to the point where it almost meets up, then the pink, she should press the pause button. This will stop the red from moving, but the pink will carry on as it downloads while passed. This might mean she has to wait a few minutes before finishing watching, but at least she won't have to start it again from the beginning. So a little bit more for you there. Number 2, she can download from the direct download link on the website and save it to her hard drive. Once it had finished downloading, she can watch the whole thing again all the way through. All right, so hopefully that'll help you. Number 3, the iTunes iTunes, if you use iTunes, that will download the whole file automatically. So she could try using that instead of YouTube, all right? Just go to the iTunes website. So hope that sorts it out for her. I'm going to shut up now. As you can probably tell, I have a habit of rambling on. All the best from Robert. I don't know what you mean, Robert. I don't know anyone that rambles on at all. So there we are, Catherine. All these people trying to help you there, my darling. Let us know how you get on, all right, dear? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is the email address. Where are we going to now? Oh, I meant to tell you, I've ordered a new mobile. Have I told you this already? Oh, I can't remember that. I might have told you already. I've ordered a new mobile phone, which should be here, I think, tomorrow or the day after. The Samsung, all right, people who want to look this up, the Samsung Tocco F480. The Samsung Tocco, Tocco, F480. It looks a little bit like an iPhone. See what you think of that. And it's a free upgrade. We like free. Yes. Free upgrade. Thank you for that, Robert. Right, we got someone new now. Someone new. Elizabeth. Hello, Elizabeth, who says, hello, Chris. I saw you on YouTube and really enjoyed the show. I was particularly interested in what you said on a previous show about lollipop ladies being attacked in the UK. Yes, they have been. I mean, not all the time, dear. I mean, it's quite rare, but yes, it has happened on occasions. Elizabeth says, drivers over there must be really angry drivers to be assaulting poor lollipop ladies. Yeah, it's dreadful. I think that the drivers over here are getting worse. And I hate to say it, but there was quite a lot. It does seem to happen quite a lot. And indeed, on the way home this afternoon from the swimming pool, I cycled to the swimming pool and back again. I'm on the road. So two cars have passed me and gave me lots of room. After that, I pulled over towards the middle of the road with my hand outstretched, turn right. At this point, another car, driven by a young lady, was pulled out and continued to go past me, even though I had my hand out to turn right. Dreadful. The driving in this country and here in the UK is getting worse and worse. I tell you that now. And people just don't give way to you. It's terrible. You have to push yourself out to get out of side roads a lot of the time because no one stops anymore. I remember when my dad started driving, people would give way to you all the time. Don't know why that is. Anyway, Elizabeth has been a lollipop lady in Los Angeles for almost 31 years. Coming up next February the 8th on 2009. Oh, that's just after my birthday. My birthday's on the 5th of February. So you'll be 31 years on the February 8th, 2009. How do you remember those dates? I'm no good with dates. And Elizabeth, and thank you on behalf of little children everywhere. I bet you saved a few lives, Elizabeth. I'm sure you have. She says, I have never all these years have had this sort of problem. I have had a few drivers try to sneak through, but I have never been shouted at or been worried about being assaulted. We do not even wear the nice outfits that the English guards wear. We have to wear a silly orange vest and a baseball hat. I bet you look lovely in that. Have you got a picture of yourself in that, Elizabeth? I'd love to see a picture of you in your orange vest and baseball hat. I always think we look more like a blooming construction workers. I'm originally from Yorkshire. Oh, we got Yorkshire. Hang on, we got a bit of Yorkshire. Hang on, Yorkshire. I always like to play this little thing when anyone ever says we're from Yorkshire. 1 second, let me push that up there. Right, we'll do that bit again, okay? I'm originally from Yorkshire. You know that, didn't you? But have lived here for over 47 years. I hope I can see more of your shows. Yes, do join us regularly. There's new shows on the YouTube on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. And you can always go. The best way to find the shows is to go to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. The newest show is always at the top. That's for web listeners and viewers. Go to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right. Thanks, Elizabeth, for sharing us that story there. Are your children on holiday at the moment? Our children are at the moment on holiday. I think most of them start going back next week. I think most of them are. I dropped something there. Most of them are indeed back next week. Onward. Wayne Anonymous writes in, hello Chris, may I suggest you use a Dremel power tool with a grinding wheel attached to remove that corn on your foot. Well, it's gone now, too late Wayne, but yes, thank you for the advice. I just have a feeling it might take a little bit more off than the corn. He says you could always try using a piece of sandpaper as well. Wait a minute, he says, how about opening a can of cat food? Do you remember I had the corn on my toe last week? It's gone now. He says, how about opening a can of cat food and pouring some of the liquid onto the corn? Then you can sit back and let your cats chew it off. Oh, dear. That's awful. That's horrible, horrible, horrible. Last suggestion. When driving home from a work venue late at night, remove your shoe and sock, open the car door and drag the corn along on the tarmac. You could try the same technique while riding on the back of your nephew's motorcycle. He will not know if you are screaming in pain or fear. Glad to be of assistance. From Anonymous Wayne. Thank you, Wayne. I take all those suggestions on board, sir. Don't worry, I shall take them all on board. How are we doing for time? Oh, about another 10 minutes left. We might actually get through both of these emails. I know we've got another 2 to do today. First of all, Suko, who says, are you ready for this? Now, do you remember Suko wrote in and said she had very, very good customer service from Toshiba because her husband Jerry has had a problem with the laptop. She says, are you ready for this? Toshiba has lost Jerry's laptop. They have been trying to track it for days, but as of today, nothing yet has turned up. They did say they would replace it, so Jerry doesn't seem too worried about it. But after all I said about the efficiency, they've gone and lost it. You have to laugh at that. Oh, yeah. But, I mean, 4 marks to Toshiba, they're going to replace it, you know, totally free of charge, I guess. The only thing I would say, of course, is I hope Jerry didn't have any data, any possibly pictures or important emails or anything like that saved that he hadn't backed up before he sent it off. You know, which could be a problem, I suppose, couldn't it? But Toshiba doing their best there to sort it out. I'm sure they are. I found actually, Suko, with a lot of these Japanese companies, the customer services is really good. I mean, look at my car, the Toyota Aygo. The customer service, I mean, you know, it's really good. They're the first people I've dealt with, really, Toyota. I also do myself have a Toshiba laptop. I tell you what, hang on a minute, let me get my laptop here. It's just to the next to me. Now, I don't think you actually watch the shows, do you, Suko? You're one of our longest listeners, of course. But I've got the laptop I've got here. That's my Toshiba laptop. Is this the one? Is it the same one he's got? Because this seems to be incredibly popular at the moment. It's the Equium. Okay, there you can see it there. And this is actually the laptop that I play out while I'm DJing. I play directly from a laptop. I don't have any CDs. Well, I do. I always carry around a couple of CDs just in case. But fortunately, touch wood, as he says, touching his head and his desk. Fortunately, I've never had to revert to the CDs because there's been a problem with the computer. But that's the actual unit that I use to DJ at. And I wonder, has he got an Equinum as well? It all lights up blue at the front. Isn't that terrible, losing it like that? Suko also says, you asked if anyone had ever been to China on the last show. Chris, you know I've been there. Yeah, I know you've been there, Suko. I was wondering if anyone else had been there. She says, you read my story about going there in 1998 to get Jade. Yes, I remember, of course. You read my story about taking her back when she was 9 years old. In fact, I've been to China 3 times. I've visited Beijing, Nanjing, Shanghai, Xi'an, Guangzhou, Gunlinin and Man and Shan, Heffy. Okay, big guy. Try pronouncing those. Well, I did. I hope that wasn't too bad, was it? Was it too bad? You do like to test me, don't you? You really do like to test me. She says, on our first, and many other cities on the outskirts of these. On our first trip to China, before we even thought about adopting, we took a cruise up the Lai River, which was breathtakingly beautiful. However, along the route, many times, children would swim up to the boats to beg for money, candy, pens, anything they could get. On the streets of most of these cities, beggars are abundant. Many of them will follow you until you give them something. Our friends who live in Beijing told us not to fall for their acts, that the government helps them and there is no reason they cannot work for a living. So we got used to not giving in. One evening, however, Jerry and I passed a young man begging who had no legs, getting from place to place by propelling himself on a skateboard. We passed him as our friends had suggested, but a block or two later we looked at each other and we both had tears in our eyes. We turned back to give him some money. We both felt that even if he does get help, what quality of life does he have? A few extra dollars might make his life a bit easier. We will never forget him. For most part, though, China has come a long way since our first trip there in 1995. It's funny, actually. You say 1995 there. I can't believe how long that is now. It's 13 years ago, 1995, and it's just gone like that, hasn't it, Suko? It's when you see people with no legs or no arms or something wrong with them that you do actually realise how lucky you are, don't you? I was watching a programme on the television the other day about this lady who's got a disease and she's got enormous legs. Both her legs weigh together 13 stone, just her legs. And she's got to decide whether to have them amputated, because if she doesn't, it might kill her. On the other hand, if she does, it might kill her. Awful position to be in. She says now you don't see as much squalor as you did back then. Many people are upwardly mobile, dressing well, driving cars, texting on cell phones. We visited an artist colony about 50 miles outside of Beijing and visited some private homes, and while they were not luxurious by any means, they were pleasant and well kept. In 2004, we took Jade back to visit her orphanage and to the place where she was found abandoned at the age of 3 years old. This was probably the poorest, most rundown area we had visited in China, but not a slum by any means. Most Chinese people are very proud, as you could see that on the Olympics, and work very hard for what little they have. They are curious to see Western families with their Chinese children, especially older ones, but they are very friendly and seem very happy. Our experiences have always been positive about China. Now, sorry again, but once again, I've run out of time, boys and girls, for the radio show. So we'll continue with that email in the next programme. If you do want to join in by email, feel free to do so at any time. The email address, once again, is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. As always, thanks for listening, and those of you as well, thanks for watching. From myself, Chris Reardon, see you on the next show. Bye-bye now.